I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, whether I should tell you. It depends. Are you Facebook fans? If you're a Facebook fan, you'd know my wife and I had a beautiful romantic dinner for two in the mud. It was rather entertaining, and she's still married to me, so it's all good. There's light at the end of the tunnel, even if it is a freight train. Oh man, eh? I tell you what, some of the adventures a bloke goes on. You out there in internet land wouldn't believe me if I told you the story. If you're going trucking and you're into the mud, or the sand for that matter, perhaps take something more impressive than this to dig the bloody truck out, because this was my effort. I had this is my shovel, and you can just imagine I was down bloody nearly to the axles. So this is not an ideal shovel when your truck's stuck in the bog. But it was better than nothing, because I mean my hands got sore laying in the mud, digging behind the wheels of the truck to see if we could get some blooming rocks or wood or something underneath there to get some traction, because the girl had sunk down past the sand into the clay pan. So we're like this far into the clay. It was unbelievable. I was thinking as I was digging away under there, I know a young lady who does a bit of pottery, and I thought maybe I should put some of this in a bag for her and take it home, but that didn't happen. But next time we're down there, perhaps I'll grab her a bucketful. Of course, the young fella didn't get to come along because he'd just had himself a beautiful little girl, my first little grandchild, young Penelope here. Welcome to the world, by the way. I'm there in the mud, digging away with my poor wife, who's come along, long-suffering woman she is, and I had to turn her into a Roman. Now, you're Roman, you may ask, what does that mean? Well, you know, when the Romans were sieging and they were trying to take over a big wall, they would get all the soldiers to cart rocks to the wall so they could run up the ramp and jump in. But anyway, so I had my lovely wife carting rocks to the back of the truck so we could put them under the wheel so we could get out. You can imagine how much fun that was. But I did try to tell her it was a romantic dinner for two we were out together romantically, having a conversation. It was lovely and endearing, and we were all cheerful and laughing, and all we needed was candlelights and a bottle of wine, and it would have been marvellous. Well, maybe not. But anyway, we've got photos, so I can tell you whatever the hell I like. There was a moment in time when a bloke decided that he was going to get his bees from the southeast, which would have been okay, except that it had 17 inches of rain in the last week. And if you do not stay on the sandhills, you end up in the mud. So I was in the mud with my beautiful wife, who I don't know, haven't actually met her because she's in the pink suit. When she's in that pink suit, she is very cute. And when she was in the truck, she was very cute. But I don't know how many of you gentlemen out there are actually in long-term relationships. But you know, when you've gone from not that she ever really got angry, but when you get to that next point in life when they're actually talking about, I'm really just sad and cold and I'd like to go home. And you know, you've gone from the knight in shining armour to the dickhead that's in the mud. It's about where we were at. And she was very gracious and very understanding, but that even makes it sort of worse because you're like, fuck, epic F on the fails ratios. I don't know. If there's a level of fail, that's the one where you go, oh man, I'd just like to give you a cuddle and say it's okay. But it's not okay because you're bloody drowning in mud. Anyway, we were stuck in there and the bloke didn't have a shovel. So I started with a piece of wood and I was trying to dig the wheels out. And I got to the clay part of where we were stuck. And the interesting thing is when you're digging out the bloody truck tyre compared to a car tyre, you realise how bloody long the things are. So we're in the mud this deep, and I'm digging, and I said to the lovely wife, who was, actually this was before she got to the point where she was cold and miserable, and I said, well, do you reckon you could go and get me some rocks? So we became Romans. We were Romans, and we were collecting rocks from across the way and putting them in on the top of the truck, and I'm digging away. If you're ever in the bog, take a shovel, because it's very, very silly to try and dig your truck out with a bloody hive tool. Not on the agenda of shit you should be doing. It's not good. But the cool thing about it was the lovely wife, she had bought this cool little heaty up machine that we could actually have a hot meal in the truck, which was meant to be something we did after we loaded the bee. So we had the meal warming up in the truck. Have you ever taken your wife out for a lovely romantic dinner for two when your kids are sort of in that weird stage, so you actually desperately need to have a moment together? Well, that was us in the truck. And I was trying to convince her that it was a beautiful romantic evening with the stars shining and, there wasn't really much moon. And I was, I think she thought I was trying to be amorous, but I had no intention of being amorous. I was just trying to be accommodating. And of course, we were stuck in the bloody mud in the middle of nowhere going. And so neither of us really felt like eating. We did eat a little bit, and it would have been bloody awesome if it wasn't so insane. But I tell you what. Anyway, we're there, stuck in the bog, and the lovely wife, she actually texts the lad who put it on this, is it called social media? Whatever it's called, social media. And this dude from down that way, from Beachport, young Tom the Blacker, if you're ever stuck in the mud, in bloody beach, well, anywhere near Beachport. Well, we weren't anywhere near Beachport at all. We were an hour away, but if you're stuck anywhere in the southeast, get hold of young Tom Blacker, because he'll turn up and he'll drag your ass out of the shit. We had a fucking truck in the bog hole, and he dragged our asses out of the crap hole. So if you only got there and you're stuck in your little four-wheel drive on the beach, he'll rip your shit out of there, no worries. Because we can pull a bloody, I don't know, whatever it is, a 13-ton truck out of a blooming mud hole. Anything's possible. So don't forget. I should probably put his card up if I could find the damn thing on the website, if you're ever stuck down there in the sand. Champion Tom. All love to you, because otherwise I don't know. I think I might have been divorced. Well, no, she wouldn't divorce me, because what the hell would she do for adventure if she wasn't married to me? Where would be the adventure in any of it? Anyway, we finally got out of the bloody bog at, I think it was like 3:30 in the morning, and we started heading home. Young Tom, he's such a good bloke. He at 3:30 in the morning he says, would you like to nip in and grab the other fucking 100 hives that you were trying to get just while I'm here so I can tow you through? And I'm going, well, it's 5 hours to home, and I'm thinking it's 3 in the morning. That's what, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means we're getting home at bloody 9 o'clock if I don't fall asleep. So I said, thank you very much. That would be lovely, but I think we might head for home. And the dear wife said she was cold and she would just like to go to bed. And the upside to that is, how would you believe it? We actually get back to the farm and she helped me unload. So what a champion. I tell you what, there's only so many women in the world that could put up with me. And I happened to find one that did. So here we are. I'm still alive, still married, and still talking to you. So bloody amazing. And I was kind of saying to the lad that we could have actually, if we were archaeologists in 1,000 years' time and the bloody planet changed, we would have been making our own cart ruts in there in the bloody bog down there in the southeast. But anyway, that's a whole nother issue.
What's a cart rut?
A cart rut, that's when they talk about the fact that there's these bloody ruts in the limestone, which apparently were made by carts back in the day, but I don't know what the hell they were doing, because they flew off the cliff, so I'm not really sure. Maybe they were flying ruts, or flying carts, but who knows. The weird little world we live in. Here we are. Welcome to planet Earth. Who the fuck knows what's going on next?